Good morning everyone. So today we'll discuss about the demand for money. So money is the most liquid form of asset. Means anywhere we go, very easily we can buy the goods and services with the help of the money. So it is called as liquid form of asset. So the demand for money refers to what is demand for money? The total money demanded by the people in the form of cash for various purposes. See here, the people have a desire to have money in their hands simply to understand the demand for money. Now, anybody dislikes money? No, everybody likes money. Everybody wanted to hold money in their hands. Holding money in hands. See, we have different reasons for holding a money in hand at home or purse or bags, wherever it is. Everybody wanted to have the money. Why we want to have the cash? Why we wanted to have the money in the form of a cash, that is liquid form of asset, liquid most easily. Suppose I wanted to buy a water packets, or I want to buy a tea, I want to buy some fruits, I wanted a cash immediately to exchange the goods there. So everybody wanted to have the money in the form of a cash for various purposes is called as demand for money. Okay, so according to Keynes, here why the people wanted to have the money, he has some three reason for that. Okay, so what are the three reason for holding a cash, why the people wanted to have money? Number one, we call it as a transaction motive. Number two, precautionary motive. Number three, speculative motive. Holding a money in the form of cash, the people desire to have money in the form of a cash. The various reasons are transaction motive, speculative motive, and precautionary motive. There are three motives for holding the money. You have 4 marks question on this. We'll see now what is transaction motive. Okay, transaction means what? Exchanging the goods for money. Okay, see, transaction motive, demand for money refers to holding money to carry our transaction. See, we incur some or the other expenditure to fulfill our day to day needs. Okay, see, we wanted food, we wanted so many things. Okay, shelter, clothing, okay, medical, for children's, for clothing, for auto, for entertainment, okay, and for home, for insurance, for various. This is our day to day lives. Okay, we want to buy vegetables, we want to buy fruits, we want to buy milk, newspaper, to expend for this day to day expenditure. Okay, the people wanted to have the money in the form of cash to meet our daily expenses. Daily expenses. Okay, see here. To buy all this every day, we need money. Thus, the transaction motive relates to the demand for money for the day to day expenditure of individuals and business firms. Holding cash to make daily transaction is called as a transaction demand for money. Okay, so this transaction demand for money is represented as follows. Okay, I'll write down here M D T equals K into T. Okay, so what is this MDT means? M is money, D is demand, T is transaction. Transaction motive of demand for MD is demand for money, T is transaction. Transaction motive for demand for money. So here T refers to total value of transaction. Total value of transaction, and K represents the position fraction. Okay, so transaction MDT the T, D is above, the T is smaller font, and more demand for money, MD, T is a transaction, K is position fraction, and T is total value of transaction. Okay, this is how the transaction demand for money is represented in the form of a formula. Okay, so transaction motive means simply to say it is the people wanted to spend the money for to fulfill our day-to-day needs. Okay, so or business firms demand for money for the day-to-day expenditure. Such motive to spend for such things, we call it as a transaction motive for money. Okay, right. The next one is precautionary motive. Okay, see, precaution means, you people can understand, precaution means the future will be uncertain. Okay, there will be uncertainties. Sometimes the people had some amount of money for unforeseen expenditure to meet some unseen situation. Okay, sometimes the people hold some amount of money for unforeseen expenses such as medical expenses. Okay, see, future is always uncertain. We cannot predict what will happen in the next. Okay, some accidents may happen. Okay, some emergencies, here are all some emergencies. Okay, so when natural disasters come, some fire, some accident, some death, at that time we wanted to have money, we cannot postpone that particular thing. Okay, suppose somebody got in a family, if he was in an accident means, immediately we want to treat them, we want to give them medical care, so we want to take them to the hospital. At the time we need money for that. Okay, sometimes some fire happens, some unforeseen situations. To meet all that, the people, some emergencies, the demand for money to meet these unforeseen and unexpected expenses is known as a precautionary motive or precautionary demand for money. Like the transaction demand for money, precautionary demand for money is also have a positive function of income. Okay, here it is algebraically how it is represented means, precautionary motive for demand for money, that is MDP equals F into Y. Okay, so what is this MDP? That is precautionary, P represent precautionary demand for money, F is a functional relationship between the precautionary motive for demand for money and the income. Okay, so here also income, in the transaction motive also it is income. So when the transaction demand for money increases, income also increases. Here the income increases, precautionary motive for demand money also will be increased. Both have a positive functional relationship. Okay, so why the people, here the question is why the people wanted to have the money in the form of a cash means, number one, to meet the day-to-day expenditure, the people wanted to have in the form of a cash, that is transaction motive. Number two, precautionary, to meet some uncertain expenditure, unforeseen situation, to meet that situation we wanted to have the money in the form of cash. And thirdly, we have a speculative motive demand for money. So speculative motive means beside the cash. Okay, beside cash means people tend to hold wealth in the form of a property, gold, bonds, shares. Why the people wanted to have, apart from cash, the people wanted to have the wealth in the form of a property, gold, bonds and shares. Wise means speculative demand for money refers to the demand for money that people hold as a idle cash balance to speculate with the aim of earning capital gains and profits. Suppose if you are a business people, the business people always they wanted to have some idle cash. Why they wanted to have this idle cash means, they speculate means in the future the price of the raw materials may go up or may go down. Suppose some raw materials for their business, okay, some goods they are getting it for a very cheaper price at the particular period means, to buy that particular good in that particular situation they wanted it in the form of a bond, share, property, gold. They can be, easily they can buy that for the future. So definitely they know that in the future the price of the commodity may go up, Okay, so when it goes up at that time, to buy and store it, store the wealth in the form of a money or a bonds. Okay, so they wanted to keep it to use it at that time. Okay, so the people wanted to, the business people mainly, they speculative motive. So in the future the price of that commodity may go up, so when it comes for cheaper they wanted to buy it. To buy that they wanted a money in the form of a cash, so it is called a speculative motive or demand for money. Okay, here how the algebraically it is represented means, that is MD. Yes, we know that MDS means speculative. S represents speculative, D represents demand. This is money, demand for money, equals R max minus R divided by R min minus, sorry, R max minus R divided by R minus R min. So what is this means? Previously the two motives you have seen, that is transaction motive and a precautionary motive. In both that we have discussed with the money. Okay, money means income. Precautionary motive and transaction motive both are related with the money, and here it is, this concept is related with the rate of interest. This R represents the rate of interest. So speculative demand for money equals R means R represents the rate of interest. The rate of interest max means maximum minus rate of interest divided by rate of interest minus R represents rate of interest, minimum, this is minimum, this is maximum, where R is the market rate of interest and R max and this is maximum, R minimum are the upper and lower limits. Okay, maximum how much the rate of interest should be, minimum how much the rate of interest should be, are the upper and the lower limits of rate of interest, both positive consonants. Okay, both are positive. It clearly states that as R decreases from R maximum, so here from the rate of interest, that is maximum, R is decreasing to R minimum. The value of speculative demand for money decreases from 0 to infinity. Okay, here the speculative demand for money decreasing. The speculative demand for money will be decreasing from 0 to infinity. Okay, so this is the speculative motive for demand for money. Altogether we have a three motive, that is precautionary, transaction and speculative motive, to meet all this unforeseen situation. Okay, the people wanted to hold the money in the form of a cash. So here I've given example of buying the gold. Okay, so Monday buy the pile of gold. Only if you have the cash balance, as a idle cash balance, you can buy the gold. Okay, so the business people they know that in the future the price may go up, so Wednesday they can sell, because at that time the price of the gold have been increased, so they'll get the huge profit. Okay, in order to get this profit, to get the financial gains, okay, here the people wanted to have the cash in their hands. These are the three motives.